Gather we now to celebrate that which was, that which is, and that which will be. Gather we now as we have always done, united by story and bound by love. And now I would like to invite Ms. Sarah Hyman to come to the front as our chalice lighter. Sarah Hyman is a very dear friend of mine. Sarah is teaching in our religious education classes right now. And Sarah also is one of the leaders of the Interfaith Friendship Camp.
I light this chalice with these words. We light our flaming chalice as a beloved people, united in love and thirsting for restorative justice. May it melt away the tethers that uphold whiteness in our midst. May it spark in us a spirit of humility. May it ignite in us a radical love that transforms our energy into purposeful action. This is a chalice of audacious hope. This chalice shines a light on our shared past, signaling our intention to listen deeply, reflect wisely, and move boldly towards our highest ideals. Please join me in the affirmation of covenant, which you will find printed in your order of service, saying, love is the doctrine of this church, the quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humankind in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other.
I am just so ding-dang excited to introduce today's speaker. Sophia Said is the executive director of the Interfaith Center of Arkansas, almost the former executive director, because Sophia is moving on. For the past, how long have you been doing the two-state life?
7 years.
For the past 7 years, she's been doing a two-state life so that she can continue her work here in the Interfaith Center in Arkansas and also in New Jersey. So now she is moving forward, blessing it and sending it on. Sophia is also the founder of the Medina Mosque. And let's see, the Interfaith Center of Arkansas has the mission to reduce the fear and hatred among world religions by providing education and enhancing public dialogue among different faith communities. And Medina Institute is a mosque and community center serving the spiritual, social, and educational needs of a growing Muslim population in Central Arkansas. She also has a master's degree from Clinton School of Public Service. She's been an interfaith leader in Central Arkansas for many years. But all of that is not why I am excited to have her here. I am excited to have her here because I count Sophia Said as among one of my best spiritual teachers. For the past at least decade, myself and my family have been going to the Interfaith service of prayer and remembrance that happens around, is it around September 11th or is it on September 11th? Around September 11th. And almost every year, Sophia has spoken, and I have been moved by her words. I have been changed by her words. I have been deepened by her words. So yes, I am excited to have Sophia here because we're going to learn. We're going to go to church. We're going to go to mosque. So please welcome Sophia Said.
Well, that was very generous, and I requested Monica no introduction, please. So if that is no introduction, so I don't know what happens when she introduces somebody. So, well, I'm very excited. I'm thrilled to be here after a long time, and the last time when I was here, this space was not here. So my heart is so full of joy because of this amazing, joyful, lovely ceremony that I experienced, a celebration of love and community in this gorgeous space. So congratulations. I can spend every Sunday morning here. This is lovely. And thank you for introducing the Interfaith Center. This is an organization that I have helped build, and I'm really proud of it. And your church has been a big supporter of the interfaith work of our organization. And if you don't know about us, then please visit us at www.theinterfaithcenter.org, or visit Sarah Hinman, who is one of your leaders here, who's also a leader at the Interfaith Center and the camp director of our summer program. And also, thank you for introducing the mosque. That is the love of my life, if I may say. Hard to leave behind. But if any of you are ever interested in meeting somebody from the Muslim community, you're always welcome to come and visit us at the mosque. And again, you can find more information from Sarah Henman, who has visited it many times and hopefully visiting tonight or Tuesday as well. Okay, so I wanted to talk briefly about why we do, or why we need to do interfaith work in America and how we do it. And I've been thinking about it, and I was reminded of a terrible incident last Sunday morning, just a week ago, in a mosque in the city of Paterson, New Jersey, which is 30 minutes from my home in New Jersey. At 6 a.m., when all the Muslims were prostrating and praying, a man walks up to the imam while he's in the prostration, the imam, and he just stabs the imam multiple times. Thank goodness imam's alive. He was taken to the hospital, but the incident happened during one of the holiest times for Muslims. That's last Sunday. Last month, we had a series of incidents like that because we are celebrating Ramadan, and of course, the faith is highlighted because it's the holy season. Last year, 3,697 incidents of harassment, vandalism, assault, hatred, and violence against our Jewish brothers and sisters in United States, which is actually the highest number since 1979, a 36% increase in 1 year. And the list goes on and on. It's not only Muslims and Jews, it's also Christians and Hindus and Baha'is and Sikhs. So religious prejudice against most of the faith communities has been increasing in the last 10, 15 years. So as I was thinking what to talk about, why we do interfaith work, and there's so many reasons, but honestly, there is no more compelling reason than this, that we must engage in interfaith work to reduce this hatred and bigotry and violence, which people of faith are doing against people of faith. And if we don't engage in interfaith peacemaking, then we cannot stop it. So it's a duty on us, but then there are other reasons. This is not the only reason, there are other reasons. I feel, and that's a very personal to me, I feel that as Americans, we don't have a choice. We must do interfaith work. And if we do not do it, we cannot survive as a community. We'll perish. And I'll tell you why I say that. And that's true, in my opinion, only for America, not for any other country. And why do I say that for America? This country is actually the world's first attempt to create a religiously diverse democracy. It has never been done before. You all know that people came to US more than 200 years ago to find a safe haven and refuge because they were being religiously persecuted, and they wanted to have a place where they can freely practice their faith. People came 100 years ago, 70 years ago. My uncles, 3 of my father's brothers came 50 years ago. I came 30 years ago. And we still have young children from Bosnia and Syria still landing at our shores today. And future Americans will continue to come in the next generation. So our country and the history of our country is deeply rooted in very multi-religious, multicultural, and multi-ethnic experiences that we all have shared together. So we are very diverse. That's a fact. We can't change that. Is it good? Is diversity a good thing? Or is it bad? Neither. The answer is neither. It's neither good nor bad. It's just a number. Will this religious diversity add to the fragmentation of our communities that we're experiencing nowadays? Or will it strengthen our trust in each other and make us more cohesive? We don't know. We really don't know. Our fate depends on what do we choose to do with this diversity. And that's a choice that we have to make. And then we will know if this diversity is a good thing or if it's a bad thing. There's a great insight from a philosopher and a historian, Michael Walzer, and in his book called What It Means to Be an American, he writes that for centuries, political philosophers believed that it is not possible to have a diverse democracy. A diverse democracy will not thrive. Because if we want diversity, then we need a dictator who can quench dissent. But if we want democracy, then we need homogeneity, so it's easy for the ideas to flow together. So what does Michael Walzer say what it means to be an American? That either you can have a democracy or you can have diversity. They both cannot be together. So that's it. That's what he says. That's it. Full stop. The paragraph ends till the next section starts, and it starts with this line, until the United States of America. I find it so beautiful. It gives me goosebumps every time I read it. So the idea of a religiously diverse democracy is very unique, and it could be one of our biggest strengths. And we need to build on it because we are a religiously diverse democracy and the largest one in the world right now. What does it mean? It means that there are much more interactions between people of different religions likely to happen in this land than anywhere else in the world because there are more religious groups living together in this land. One of my heroes in interfaith work is Ibu Patel. And he says that when different religious groups live together, then those interactions can become one of many different things. They can become bubbles of isolation, which we have seen. We have seen minority communities living within their communities isolated. It can become barriers of division, which we have also seen in many smaller communities. It can become bludgeons of domination, and we are seeing that struggle nowadays between faith communities. It can become bombs of destruction, and all of these could be potential faces of religious diversity in a country. Or it could become a bridge of cooperation between devout people of different faith who share goals to create a community together. Like I said, that diversity is just a number. It's neither good nor bad. Religious diversity is just the existence of different religions in the same geographical area. It doesn't mean we will have a society where religions will live harmoniously. It doesn't mean there will be no social hostilities. It can be anything. I remember when I started one of my interfaith programs called Multi-Faith Youth Group of Arkansas. In the first session it's a group of high school children who come together every other week to have dialogue about faith or do service. So in the first session, when I was sitting with them, I asked them that, why did you decide to join this group? And the young Jewish girl said that throughout my school years, I was never able to reveal my identity. I look so Jewish. I was always scared of owning my identity. I was uncomfortable of my Jewish heritage. And that's why I'm here. I want to feel that comfort within my own skin. The young Muslim girl whose parents immigrated from Syria, she said that one of my teacher loves to pick on me with the question, would you please tell your classmates why these terrorists are bombing Syria? And then she goes on by saying that I answer the question to the best of my ability, but it makes me feel very anxious and lonely. And these stories are from a very religiously diverse high school classroom in West Little Rock, from a wonderful school that probably you all are familiar with. So again, religious diversity and religious freedoms are neither good nor bad. It's just a reality in our life today. What matters is what do we do with that? What do we do that with that diversity? So another great historian that I love and admire, Voltaire, he said that if America was the nation of one religion, it would do what one religion does. It would crush all the rest. If America would be the nation of two religions, they would cut each other's throats. But towards the end of the 18th century, not now, towards the end of the 18th century, there were 30 religions surviving and thriving in this nation. So we really, because we are not a nation of one religion or two religions or three religions, we have over 30 different spiritual practices existing in this nation. And you can learn more about them by going to Harvard Pluralism Project, another one of my favorites. So we really don't have a choice then to create a new tradition, a tradition of mutual respect and interfaith cooperation. Because if this diversity that I just spoke about in length is left unchecked, if we don't do anything about it, then it will lead to hostility, prejudice, polarization, and even violence. And we are seeing all of that nowadays. We have examples of all of that. However, if we use this diversity and use our own religious theologies as tools of cooperation instead of barriers of division, then our diversity can evolve into healthy pluralism. And that's the word I want to leave with you all today, pluralism. It's really, really, really important because mere diversity without any real encounters between people of different faiths, real encounters, it will actually create a tension in the society. So what Michael Walzer was saying was right. It will create tension in the society, the diversity, if our encounters are not genuine, if they're not real, and actually it will cause religious ghettos with very little traffic in between different faiths. And we already have them in many cities of America. So although religious diversity is given in America, we are the most diverse country in the world, but pluralism is not. Diversity is a fact. Pluralism will be our achievement if we get there. And it's really, really important to get there. The beautiful thing about pluralism is that unlike diversity, we don't have to leave our identities behind. We don't have to leave our differences behind. We can hold on to our deepest differences, including religious differences, and still build relationships with each other. Because pluralism is a language of dialogue. And when you have dialogue, then there are two things. There are commonalities, common understandings, and then there are differences, real differences. And in a pluralistic community, we cherish our commonalities actually. We celebrate our commonalities, but we respect our differences. We don't shrug them under the carpet. We talk about them. We learn from them. We get enriched from them. And personally, I'm a Muslim. I was born a Muslim, not really raised as a devout Muslim, but as I learn more about my faith, I become more and more a devout Muslim. But my personal religious experience, my spirituality has been nourished by so many different faiths. I wouldn't be who I am today if I did not learn about all those differences in my own spiritual journey. And each one of those faiths have made me a better and a stronger Muslim. And that's the achievement of pluralism. So how do we get to that? Do I have time? So raise hand if I need to stop. So dialogue is very important. We cannot just leave this diversity unchecked and be happy, oh, we are such a diverse nation. We need to get to that level of healthy dialogue that will create pluralism. So how do we get to that dialogue? And there are some very basic, I mean, there are books written on it, but based on my experience with all the interfaith work that I have done, there's some basic things that we should keep in mind, that how we arrive at that interfaith dialogue, how we engage, and how we walk away. These three things we have to be very intentional about them. So how we arrive. There are so many minority traditions in America who live with the burden of explaining themselves all the time. So it's very important to be intentional about how we arrive at an interfaith engagement or at an interfaith interaction. And you all will find your own way. For me, my inspiration comes from my holy book, Quran, in which God tells us that we created you from a male and a female and made you different and divided you in tribes and nations so that you may know each other. And for me, it's so beautiful that God's telling me that you are different. I made you different. You're supposed to be different because you need to make an effort to get to know each other. So arriving as humans, so how we arrive at that interfaith engagement wanting to know the other human, not the religious other, not the cultural other, not the ethnic other, not the gender other, the human other, just at the human level. And arrive with an open heart, with a sincere trust, and a genuine interest to listen. So that's the most beautiful way to arrive at the interfaith engagement. So now then, how we arrive, then how we engage. Again, in my opinion again, and I'm not an expert, this is all experiential learning, we must develop our own interfaith language and theology, each one of us, for us to be engaged in an interfaith peacemaking and to live in this country. And our own interfaith theology should be rooted in our own religious tradition. Or for those who don't belong to one specific tradition, then your interfaith theology should be rooted in your own belief system, in your own worldview, in your own ideology, whatever you believe in. Whether it comes from the Old Testament, when you're told that you shall also love the stranger because you were strangers too in the land of Egypt, or it can come from the Gospel of Matthew, when you're told that love your enemies and forgive those who persecute you so that you may be the children of God. Or it may come from Quran, my holy book, in which God tells us that all those who believe, they can be Christians, Jews, Sabians, but all those who believe and those who do good shall have no fear, and they should live in peace with each other. So it's really, sometimes it feels that religions are divisive, and they can be, but I also believe that religion has great power to catalyze individuals towards positive goals. And in each of our traditions, in each of us, there is not a single tradition in this world, religious tradition, in which we don't see it. In every tradition, we have a moral mandate to reach out to others, to be good to others, to seek others, and get to know others. So the second thing, how we engage, please develop your own interfaith theology, which is rooted in your belief system. That is very important. And the third, what we take away from here. Again, it's really important that we are engaged, whenever we are engaged with a person of a different faith, that we understand and realize that we are engaged with only one rendition or with only one part of that diverse tradition. or with only one of the several intersections in which that religious tradition manifests itself. For example, I'm only a small part of the multiplicity of how Muslims express their faith. So when I go to an interfaith engagement and I meet a Jew or I meet a Christian, I keep that in my mind. I have not gotten to know the entire tradition. Just a small, tiny part. So to sum it up, how we arrive, how we engage, and how we live is very, very important in creating a healthy interfaith dialogue which will lead us towards creating a pluralistic community. And if we are able to do that, very soon we'll realize that we are not only building relationships, we are also gaining appreciative knowledge about other faiths. And these two things, appreciative knowledge and relationships, are the cornerstones or the key foundational ingredients of pluralism. And appreciative knowledge does not mean just the facts about another faith. That we can get on Google or through TV or anywhere. So appreciative knowledge is actually actively seeking out the beautiful in a faith, the life-giving in a faith, the admirable in a faith, not just the deficits or gaps or numbers. So as we engage in this interfaith dialogue, we'll see our appreciative knowledge will increase because we are going with an open heart. And we will build relationships. And social sciences research says, and it's in the book called, another one of my favorite book by Robert Putnam, who's a Harvard sociologist. He wrote a book called American Grace, How Religion Divides Us and Unites Us. So in this book, he shows us that how social science has proven that if you have appreciative knowledge about a religion, and if you have a positive relationship with only one person of that faith, just one person, then it will result in a more favorable attitude from you towards that entire faith tradition. So for example, if you learn any one small thing about Islam, a positive thing about Islam, and if you have a positive relationship or interaction with me as a Muslim, your opinion about the faith, Islam faith, and the whole Muslim community will change. And that's incredible. And that's what we are doing in a lot of interfaith work that we do at the Interfaith Center. And that's how we build an interfaith community, by changing attitudes and behaviors of people who belong to different faith traditions, by giving them appreciative knowledge and relationship building opportunities. Because our fate as Americans depends on this, that what do we do with our diversity? We can't leave it unchecked, or we will see and hear more and more of these 3,697 incidents against Jews that I told you just in 2022. So we cannot leave it unchecked. If we are serious about our vision of America, or if we are even serious about creating a healthy community for our own faith group, we must engage with people of other faiths in a way that I just explained, gaining appreciative knowledge, building relationships, and eventually transforming this diversity to healthy pluralism. Thank you so much, everyone, for having me. It's always lovely to be back here. God bless you all.
Please remain standing as Sarah comes forward to extinguish our chalice, and as we share our closing words. I am so grateful for the service we've had today. I am so grateful to Sophia Saeed. Now, saying together the closing words. Go out into the world in peace, have courage, hold on to what is good, Return to no person evil for evil. Strengthen the faint-hearted. Support the weak. Help the suffering. Honor all beings. Amen, namaste, blessed be, and all the things. Go forth.